Hello, my name is Laura Perilla. I'm going to be your lab instructor for Bio 265 Microbiology for the lab portion of the course. And I wanted to welcome you to the class, and I also wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of what to expect this week. So first and foremost, some of you have asked about what is the BLM Benson's Lab Manual. It looks like this if you buy the paper copy from the bookstore. And people have also asked me, what is the SLM? Um, if you were getting a copy from the bookstore, it may look something like this. It's also available in PDF on D2L. And I also publish the relevant pages with my own additional notes and things like that every single week. So you don't need to get a copy of that you would pay for anywhere. That's a free document that's part of the course. Um, so for week one, we are supposed to be reading a document called Introduction to Laboratory Procedures and Safety. We're supposed to read a document called Environmental Sampling and read a document called Microscopy. The document called Microscopy will refer you to read exercise 1 in this Benson's laboratory manual. See, it says it up there, real small. It may have a different cover if you purchased it not from the campus bookstore. This is a special edition that has a lot of things removed from it to keep the cost down. The thing you're supposed to read in here is exercise 1 on bright field microscopy. So I'm just going to turn to that. If you have the same kind of copy I have, it starts on page 3. First page looks something like this. And then you may notice every week that you're going to be asked to read documents, and then some of the documents will have videos in them for you to watch. They may have simulations for you to try. They may have worksheets attached to them that you're going to turn in for your lab homework. And they may also ask you to refer to certain exercises in this Benson's lab manual. Most weeks you're going to have at least one exercise from this book to turn in for your homework as well. The exercise is just the questions that are on the pages immediately following the reading. The reading is usually a couple of pages. It's not very long. And then there'll be questions. Some will be short answers, some multiple choice, some true, false. I'm not expecting full essays or anything like that. If it says name 4 things, then you can give me 4 bullet points, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to write full sentences, you can. If you want to just put enough keywords there that I know that you found the answer, that's fine. The answers will almost always be in either the same document or another document that week. There's not going to be a lot of things that you have to look up on your own. If you do, I will let you know. Sometimes if there's a question that seems a bit vague in this lab manual, I will rephrase the question or tell you to answer it a certain way or give you a hint. So for this week, you'll be doing exercise 1 on bright field microscopy, and you do need to turn in, there's a, 8 short answer, 9 matching, 5 true, false, and 6 multiple choice questions that go along with this. There's also a worksheet that's attached to that microscopy document. That is for homework for this week as well. And then there's also a virtual microscope activity, which is a simulation that you can view online. And that's to give you a sense of what it would be like to sit down and play with a microscope since you can't do that hands-on. There are questions interspersed with the directions. And because of that, some of the directions asking you to draw what you see, I didn't give you a template. I figured most of you are probably going to like print it out and draw right on the thing, and then you can scan it or photograph it to send it back to me. And then as when you're looking on D2L, there's going to be usually a fairly lengthy description of what you're doing that week with, hints and things like that. And then below that, there's a section called supplemental information. And so one thing that will be there every single week is a discussion board. Discussion board is not mandatory. That's there for you to work together with your peers. If you have questions and you want to ask one another, that's a great place to do so. I do check the discussion boards, but I will usually let it go for a little while before I reply, because I want to see if you guys are going to reply to one another. Um, but that's not for any part of the grade or anything like that. That's just a tool that's there for you. And then other things I might put in that section are going to be Word document templates for the Benson manual questions, in case you wanted to just type your answers instead of, some people don't like to write in their book. Maybe they want to, I don't know, give it to someone else next semester or something. Um, that's fine. If you don't want to write in your book and scan it, then you could just type using that template. You don't have to retype the questions or anything like that. And then if there's a worksheet that I give you, I try to give you a PDF with only the relevant pages extracted, or a Word version of it or something, just to make it a little easier. Also, if you prefer to type or edit PDFs or what have you, then there'll be a section of lab documents, which if for some reason the links in the description part don't work, that's the first place you should check for the documents with the same titles as mentioned in the description. And then below that will be the assignments. Now, those are the things you actually turn in, and those links down there, those are places where you submit each of those items. If for some reason it does not work when you click on the link in the description, just scroll down below and it should be there. Now, I have a policy on my grading that I do accept late work, but I take 10% off for every day that it's late, unless you and I have discussed a legitimate reason for you to have an extension on your work. And because of that, 10 calendar days after the assignment is due, I have the assignment closing. So that's to encourage you to keep up with the pace of the class. Now, if something happens, talk to me, because I'm not going to be unreasonable about it. If you need an accommodation, or you have some questions about the assignment and maybe you need some help before you turn it in, I'm happy to answer any and all of your questions. Um, but if you notice later that things seem like they're disappearing, that's because I have them set to close 10 days after they were due, just so that you can't submit them any later than that for a grade. The whole section will stay open. It's only the assignments, only the links where you would submit the assignments that are going to close. At the end of the semester, there is going to be a lab practical, which is sort of a final exam for the lab. And most of the questions are going to come straight from your homework assignment in labs every week. So I strongly recommend that you keep a copy of all of your homework that you do this semester. And I even would recommend that maybe you print it out or keep it on paper, because you use the lockdown browser for the final exam, or for the lab practical. And if you are using an ebook or Word documents or things like that, you won't be able to access them during the lab practical. Occasionally, I may give you a quiz in lieu of a worksheet, or in lieu of one of these Benson Lab manual exercises. Now, when I call it a quiz, it's just because that's what D2L calls it when you type your answers directly into D2L and it auto grades it. It still factors in as part of your lab homework grades. And in the cases where I create something like that, I am assuming that you will do that on your own, as in independently, but you can ask one another for help. You can ask me for help. You can use your book. You can use your notes, because in my mind, that is really, truly a homework assignment, not a quiz. It's just the D2L calls everything a quiz. So I hope that makes everything a little bit clearer for you, and good luck this semester.